Hello, members of the Business Advisory Board. We haven't been able to get together this spring for obvious reasons, and I thought you might be interested in hearing what's happening in the business college and thought I'd make a quick video to update you. As you might expect, I've been making lots of videos to teach students, so this will at least give you a look at some of the technology we're using to try to handle the online transition. I think you all know the basic arc of the story. We went on spring break and the students never came back, so to speak, and we've transitioned to a fully online learning mode for the rest of the spring semester. And for that fact, we've already decided that summer 1 and summer 2 will be taught online. So the first opportunity that we're going to move back to any face-to-face instruction is going to be in the fall. How's that gone? You would be really proud of the faculty. Some of the folks who said, I will never teach an online class and I will quit if you try to make me, have happily converted to teaching online classes. And I probably shouldn't say happily converted, but they've readily converted. We've had a lot of sharing of expertise on the various tech tools. A lot of the faculty were experienced with online teaching, and we understood some of the things that worked and didn't work for us, and that's gone very well. One of the questions that people will ask me most often is, what's it like to teach online? And the biggest surprise they have is when I tell them it takes a lot more time than it does to teach a face-to-face class. You spend time preparing the content, and that's time consuming in of itself, but there's so much feedback and information that can be provided in a face-to-face class that you don't have that opportunity. And so you end up answering a lot of student emails, a lot of student questions, spending a lot of time that just frankly you don't have to do in a face-to-face class. I would estimate that the workload is 30 to 50% higher to teach an online class than to teach a face-to-face class. We had some very large sections that transitioned into online class mode. We try to normally limit the online classes to 30 students for that reason. And so that's been a real challenge. But the bottom line is that you would be very proud of the faculty. And frankly, we've learned a lot of techniques, and some faculty members who didn't use any of the online or the technology to handle things, whether it was using D2L to give exams or posting videos for supplemental instruction. I think we're going to see that they're going to continue to do that even when we go back into the face-to-face class mode. I wish I could tell you that the students have handled the transition nearly as well as the faculty have. You can very effectively teach a lot of subjects online, and frankly, business subjects, but the limiting factor is the maturity of the learner. They've got to get in and they've got to access the content. They've got to do the homework without the weekly discipline of going to class. Some of our students handle that well. A lot of our students don't. That's why they're in this kind of university. And honestly, it's easy to throw rocks and stones. These young people today, you know what? When we were 18 to 22, we weren't all that mature or disciplined either necessarily, or at least a lot of us weren't. And so it doesn't come as a great shock to me that we spend a lot of time, what I call searching for lost sheep. I'm teaching a class with seniors, and for the most part, they'll do what I tell them to do. I don't have to give them too many extra opportunities to take quizzes or to get assignments in, but I do have to give some. With the freshmen, it's a whole different story. I probably have 25% that won't take a quiz on time or won't turn a project in on time. And I'm emailing them, hey, the deadline passed. What's happened? I'm going to reopen it. You can email it to me late. So a lot of time is spent herding cats. Another thing that we're seeing is that when the university went to all online teaching, it had a lot of ramification on our students' work schedules. So in some cases, some of the students that had good jobs, or at least regular jobs, their employer said, oh, we know you're not going to school anymore, so you're going to work this schedule. We've had other students who've lost their jobs and gotten new jobs that don't line up with their class schedule. And so we're finding that we're having more conflicts than you would think we would. And we're seeing students that are just struggling in some cases because they lost their job, their parents lost their job, and they're having a hard time. The community has really stepped up and helped out with food donations to the students that are stranded on campus and giving to the relief fund. But this has generated a lot of financial hardships with our students as well. Something interesting we're seeing for not just the students, but we are seeing it a lot for the students, but also with the faculty is people don't necessarily have very good high-speed internet access in their homes. I have a couple of faculty members who've had a lot of trouble because their internet isn't up to the robustness and speed that it needs to be to teach an online class. And we have a lot of students who will say, "Oh, I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have internet access." So that's a real limiting factor. Not surprisingly, we're seeing some things that we don't like, but again, we're not that surprised. So we see a lot more cheating on the exams. There are various techniques to prevent the cheating. Some of them are pretty bandwidth intensive. One of my classes I'm using one of the bandwidth intensive methods, which is to say they actually have a webcam looking at them while they're taking the exam. And guess what? My class averages on my second exam were about what they were on the first exam. Another professor teaching the same course who uses basically the same testing techniques that I do, but did not have them take the second test with the webcam, his class averages went up by 15 points. So we know that there's cheating going on, but it's just one of those things where we are extending compassion and grace and understanding that students didn't sign up for this environment and we're going to roll with the punches. You may have heard that the university, from the very get-go, almost canceled the May commencement and said it was tentatively rescheduled for the 1st of August. I don't think we've changed that yet, but whether there's going to be 5,000 people willing to pile into the K. Yeager Coliseum is a whole different story. So I think we'll stand by. But the key point is we're not going to have a spring commencement ceremony. I'm still trying to assess what we want to do, might want to do fun to try to do a little something around commencement and how we're also going to extend honors to the students. We usually have a big honor celebration the night before commencement in the college, and we don't want to just let that go by the wayside. So that's what we've done and where we are in the immediate future. What's it look like going forward? Well, I've already told you that summer 1 and summer 2 are online. And we've also, and this is a little concerning for me, we've canceled all the face-to-face orientations for incoming freshmen. So all of that will be done virtually as well. And the thing that worries me is it just makes it that much easier to not go to school in the fall. So what is registration looking like for the fall semester? Actually, so far, not too bad. Summer is noticeably down, but we're still, there's still time. We got off to a pretty strong start. It looks like, I would guess, probably a good 75 to 80% of our juniors and seniors have already registered for the fall semester. Getting the incoming freshmen and the transfer students, that's always a wild card. We're not really going to know where we are until it gets very close. Obviously, this is a great concern for us. Higher ed today is definitely revenue driven from enrollment. And so to the extent that we have enrollment shortfalls, we're going to have budget shortfalls. And nobody knows what's going to happen there. Therefore, you can rest assured that the faculty this spring are putting a lot of efforts into reaching out to students to get them registered for the summer and the fall. And it's going to be a big part of my summer, reaching out to students and getting them enrolled for the summer and the fall. We're seeing some interesting things. We've had some students who've told us, I really don't want to register for the fall until I see what's going to happen with the university. And then they say one of these two things, because if it's all online, I'm not coming back. And we also hear students say, because if it's not all online, I'm not going to register because I'm not going to be comfortable taking any face-to-face classes with the virus. Obviously, people are going to change their opinions about how comfortable they are about coming back to school in the fall. And what MSU is going to do in the fall is unknowable and unknown at this point. We're looking at a lot of options, just like every university is, but it's much too early to predict what it's going to look like. We're just going to do like all the businesses and like you're doing right now in your business, we're going to adapt to a changing situation. A couple of data points. We offered about 130 scholarships to students, existing students for the next year, and about 95% of them have already accepted their scholarships. So that's a good sign. We offered 5 incoming freshman Ayers scholarships, and this was a scholarship courtesy of Warren and Pam Ayers that I'm using to try to get those high quality students off the fence. We offered 5, 3 of them accepted, and I expected that we wouldn't have anywhere near 100% acceptance rate because we are targeting high quality students who have lots of options to go elsewhere. We've extended out to 2 more students who are waiting to hear back, but I'm hopeful for the fall. We're going to work hard to get enrollment in for the fall, but no guarantees. Just like all of you, we're going to react to what we see, and we're going to keep going. The bottom line is I think you'd be proud of the way the faculty and the staff have responded to the challenges of the transition. I'm looking forward to seeing people again. Right now, MSU's on essential manning. There's probably 5 faculty members who choose to work from their office almost every day, but I may not see them on any given day because I encourage them to be in their office with their door closed. So it's almost like I have an 80,000 square foot building to myself. I have at least one administrative person with me every day, and the rest of them are working remotely, and they have a rotating schedule. So that's an update on what we're doing. I hope you found this interesting. As always, if you have comments or suggestions, reach out to me. You have my cell phone number. I am in the office Monday through Friday during normal working hours, and I answer email throughout the clock, just like you do. Thanks again for all you mean to the Dillard College. We're going to get through this. Business is going to exist on the backside, and we know that a quality business education is going to set our students up for a successful life, whatever challenges they face. Thank you.